Right now at noon, an update on the fatal Sun Prairie explosion from this past summer. We'll tell you what court documents are saying about the gas line that was struck. Plus, the man accused of shooting and killing 11 people at a synagogue in Pittsburgh enters a plea. And Maryland University has fired their head football coach after a football player's death. What the player's family is saying about the decision to fire DJ Durkin.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Thursday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. Kind of a gray day out there, but at least it's dry.
A very gray day. In fact, we've had those clouds around just about since last night, but we're still stuck with them. We've tried to get a little bit of holes filtering in the clouds, and we'll see if we can get more of that going through the rest of the afternoon. Let's look outside right now. Here's a live look over the Edgewater sky cam, and if you just pretend that there's sunshine there, like the sunshine is just clouds for Halloween or something left over, you can imagine the sun. It'll feel warmer. Temperature wise, we are at 49, so just shy of the 50-degree mark. So we have been able to see those temperatures warm up, and a lot of folks are in the 40s. Janesville's the warm spot at 52 degrees right now. But here's how the cloud covers really responded over time. We had thinner cloud cover. Now the heavier cloud cover gradually starting to work its way back into the picture. So do expect us to have cloudy skies as we go through the rest of tonight. And eventually those clouds will produce some rain, but that's not happening today. We'll watch those rain chances into the weekend, Mark, and I'm going to be breaking that all down as we come up a little bit later in the show.
Could be worse.
It could always be worse.
A lot worse. All right. Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Top in our news today, court documents say a contractor failed to properly mark a natural gas line that was struck and caused a deadly explosion in downtown Sun Prairie last summer. Last summer. A search warrant recently unsealed says an employee of WISC failed to correctly mark the gas line in the street and instead targeted a spot on the sidewalk about 25 feet away. Firefighter Corey Barr was killed July 10th when a subcontractor placing a fiber communications line underground for Verizon ruptured a gas line and triggered an explosion and fire. Firefighter Ryan Welch was critically injured. The blast destroyed 6 businesses and 1 home. Janesville police have released the name of the man who was shot in the city yesterday afternoon. Police say 32-year-old Anthony Hibbler is recovering in the hospital after receiving multiple gunshot wounds in his legs, hand, and upper torso. Officers arrested 22-year-old Dominic Verdina in the shooting, and he could face a charge for attempted second-degree intentional homicide. Police say the 2 men had an ongoing feud. A Stoughton woman and a Madison man are in the Dane County Jail after a police pursuit and multi-car crash in Verona. 32-year-old Jennifer Kopis and 48-year-old Joseph Jackson are facing multiple charges. Verona police say they responded to a business last night where Kopis was allegedly trying to return a stolen item. When police arrived, she ran to a car Jackson was driving. The 2 then headed east in the westbound lanes of East Verona Avenue, crashing into 4 other vehicles. No one was seriously hurt in the crashes. When officers searched Jackson and the car that he was driving, they found more than 4 grams of what they believed to be heroin. Both were then arrested. A Madison man was arrested earlier this morning for his 6th offense, drunken driving. Police say Donald Goldweiler was was pulled over for going 55 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone on South High Point Road. A Madison Police Department officer determined that he was likely intoxicated. Goodweiler refused to perform field sobriety tests and was later arrested. The suspect in the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting was back in a federal court in Pittsburgh this morning as the community prepares to lay more of the victims to rest this afternoon. Hillary Lane has more.
46-year-old Robert Bowers entered a not guilty plea and requested a jury trial during a brief court appearance in Pittsburgh. He was arraigned on 44 counts, including murder and hate crimes. Prosecutors say they will pursue the death penalty for the massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue Saturday that killed 11 people and wounded 6 others. Funerals continue for the victims. Among those being buried Thursday, Sylvan and Bernice Simon, who were married 62 years. Neighbors remember them as a kind and loving couple.
They had the sweetest smile that lit up the room. They love their family, their children. They love Tree of Life. They love their religion. They just love human kindness.
Also being laid to rest Thursday, Dr. Richard Gottfried, a dentist who worked part-time at a clinic treating refugees and immigrants. Hillary Lane, CBS News.
And tomorrow, the oldest victim of the massacre, 97-year-old Rose Mallinger, will be the last victim to be laid to rest. Her daughter was injured in that attack. The University of Maryland fired its football coach last night, just one day after his reinstatement by the Board of Regents, and that caused a massive backlash on campus and all across the state. Jordan McNair died on June 13th after suffering heat stroke at a May 29th practice. Nearly 2 months later, ESPN published a report citing a toxic culture in the program. Coach Durkin was placed on paid administrative leave the following day, and the university launched an investigation. Well, last week, that investigation concluded the program was not toxic. Durkin was then reinstated on Tuesday, but the university's president fired Durkin yesterday after backlash from students, state officials, and several players. McNair's father praised the decision.
He's literally making more noise in his absence than he probably would have being here. But again, that was something that, as a family, that we felt as though we were willing to deal with and turn our pain into purpose.
And this Saturday, the Maryland football team will honor Jordan McNair before the game with Michigan State. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. I'm next. We'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If it looks like chicken and cooks up like chicken, it must be chicken, right? Don't be so sure of that. I love when you get a chance to share a little bit of history behind a recipe. Like today's recipe, which came about during the Great Depression. Back then, unless you lived in a rural area, chickens were hard to come by. So folks ate a lot of pork and veal instead. Someone had the bright idea of skewering and breading cubes of meat so they would resemble chicken drumsticks. They called it city chicken, and everyone loved it. And it's done like this. First, we cut up some pork and veal into chunks and thread them onto bamboo skewers. Or if you want, you can use all of one or the other. Then we season them with salt and pepper. We dip them in some flour that we mix with a bit of poultry seasoning before coating them with a beaten egg. Finally, we roll them in some Italian breadcrumbs. Now we fry them until the coating is crispy, and we finish them off in the oven until the meat is cooked to perfection. You know, they really do look like chicken drumsticks. And when chicken became plentiful again, these juicy meaty kebabs remain just as popular as always. To get the recipe for city chicken, even though it's not really chicken, check out our website, or you can find it in our latest cookbook, the Ultimate Recipes Across America Cookbook. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a historically tasty way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Okay, I'm still confused. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, a gloomy start to November across southern Wisconsin. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast when we come back. Well, profit is music to Spotify's ears, and millennials are comparing paychecks. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Wall Street kicked off a new trading month with some optimism after a rough month for stocks. Investors are gearing up for a round of earnings from some heavy hitters after the close of trading, including Apple and Starbucks. A new tune for Spotify as it posts its first ever quarterly profit. The popular music streaming service says it earned $48.7 million. Credit that to a stake in the Chinese music streaming service Tencent. Spotify also gained more monthly paid subscribers, reaching a total of 87 million. Banks are raising rates as they compete for savers. Goldman Sachs consumer brand Marcus and Barclays online savings account both recently boosted savings rates to more than 2%. That puts them at the top of the list. The two are followed by Synchrony and Ally Bank, which are offering 1.9% for savings accounts. Talking about how much you make can be uncomfortable, but millennials are more willing to discuss it. According to Bankrate.com, 33% of millennials say they've revealed their salary to a coworker, compared to 18% of baby boomers. Nearly half of millennials say they've shared salary information with their romantic partner, while 31% of workers say they've never told their live-in partner, including spouses, how much they make. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Get more problems than money in that relationship. Pam is out of the radio barn today. Here are your egg markets. And here's a look at Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is up 201 points. The NASDAQ up 79. Chris Reese is here now with a look at our forecast. First day of November. Starting to go downhill a little bit.
You know, I'm not thinking about it. I was looking at some of the forecast models, just long term, because I always like to look ahead. And yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there.
You know what? Maybe I will finally achieve my dream of putting up the Christmas decorations with snow at some point this month.
Okay. Got to wait till Thanksgiving.
I know, but you know, that's just the end of the month pattern. We'll see how things shape up. But let's talk about right now. And I want to begin with talking about how the end of October, or really just October as a whole, shaped up for us. And here's the deal. We ended up overall, all right, here we go. Let me get my bearings. Look at the average for normal. Typically on the first day of October, you start out right around 65 degrees. This year, on the first day of October, we were 10 degrees cooler than where we should have been. Now, by the end of the month, we were right around average. But October as a whole, temperature-wise, did come in 1.5 degrees cooler than normal overall. Now, if you compare this to fall so far, of course, yes, we still do have to go through the month of November. But September was nearly 3 degrees above average, and overall, we're pacing just under 1 degree above average for your fall. I'm curious to see how November does shape that up for us. Rainfall-wise, it's a sweep, and it's been that way all the way since spring. We have had these temperatures that are not temperatures, but rainfall amounts that have been well above average. And so far, we are more than 5 inches in the surplus for the month of fall. I'll be intrigued to see how that pattern shapes up going through winter. Let's show temperatures across the state. For the most part, we do have a lot of folks that are in the 40s. Some 50s are present. 30s as you work your way closer towards the UP of Michigan. That's where a cold front is pushing southward. In the meantime, we've had a lot of cloud cover in place, and that cloud cover is all associated with this storm system that's bringing severe weather across the south, along with a lot of rain across the Ohio Valley, down across Alabama and Florida. They've been dealing with tornadoes, along with lots of severe thunderstorms across parts parts of Kentucky and Indiana, they have had flash flooding. But we have the clouds for us, no real rain associated with that right now. Overnight tonight, lows will fall towards the freezing mark. Clouds then increase again as we head into Friday night into Saturday. We'll see a few sprinkles going into Saturday morning, but the better chance for rain is actually going to come Saturday rather, into your Sunday as the system tracks right on us. Then we'll watch next week for another rain chance, but we'll watch the track of that low. If it's too far east, we won't necessarily get in on the rain chances. Temperature-wise, though, we are essentially going to have this somewhat yo-yo pattern initially, but once we get towards the second week of November, we begin to level things out with cooler air working its way in from the north. And so with that being said, we're going to watch those temperatures remain below average as we go through the next 10 days. Next Saturday could be stuck in the 30s. Yep, it's that time of the year. Rain chances again increasing Saturday night and into your Sunday. Saturday itself, not too bad of a day. We'll see a lot of clouds and temperatures in the 40s. Rain chances early next week. Don't forget, you get an extra hour of sleep on Sunday. Your friends here working morning news will gladly appreciate that extra hour of sleep. And then by next week, this time, 42 for the high.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Badger game should be okay on Saturday because it's an 11 a.m. kickoff.
It should be okay in terms of rain. It'll be a little chilly, though.
Okay. All right, Chris, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our pet of the week. We'll meet Lily when we come back. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our pet of the week. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
Who do we have here?
We have the lovely Lily here.
Hi, Lily. How are you? Oh, yes. Tell us about her.
So Lily is about 9 years old and a lab mix and came up to Dane County Humane Society from an overcrowded shelter down in Alabama.
And you say she's a little shy.
Yep, she can be a little bit shy at first. She's absolutely a sweetheart. But what Lily loves is other dogs. When she's around other dogs, it really helps build her confidence. And it's so funny. She turns into an absolute puppy.
Really?
Then she just loves to run around and play. So we are saying that Lily needs to go home with another dog or two in the house that are dog social and can help this lovely lady build some of her confidence up.
She wants to be one of the pack.
Yeah, she does.
And, you know, I first saw her, I thought, well, she's a little overweight, but she's just barrel-chested.
Yeah, she is barrel-chested. She's actually, I think, a little bit on the thin side. She could probably use to put on a couple extra pounds. But, you know, for being a senior gal, she is healthy and happy and ready to find a new home.
She plays like a puppy. That is so good to hear. And she's got plenty of life left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And senior animals are the highlight this week.
Yep, actually the whole month of November is Adopt a Senior Pet Month, so that's why we're celebrating with Lily here, but also we have Toby at the shelter, a 12-year-old guy. He's in a foster home, so be sure to call us and set up an appointment to see him. We also have Oswald, also 12 years old. He's hanging out in one of our offices, so ask for him in the adoption center. And we have Stella, who is a 7-year-old, also needing a loving home, and she is hanging out in an office as well, so come ask for her.
You know, puppies and kittens can be fun, can be great, but these seniors need a home too.
I was gonna say, as you know, with your puppy at home, that's a lot of time and energy, but these seniors, they need loving homes just as much as those puppies do.
I have a puppy and a 13-year-old at home, so
Yeah, you run the spectrum.
they all get along just fine, so yeah, there's a lot of need out there, and these guys really need a home.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so last week?
Oh, last week we had Duke, and he is still at the shelter. He is looking for a great home as well. Come meet Duke and Lily. They're both going to be back in our kennel, so come meet them.
He was a great guy. All right, Lily, get you a home.
Yeah.
You are very friendly, I'll tell you that. All right, Marissa, thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Let's. If you are interested in adopting Lily, any animals available, go to giveshelter.org, 838-0413, the number to call. And here's Chris with one final check your forecast.
That's right. Somebody please take Lily. She is a cutie over there. Let's go ahead and look at the forecast for the rest of the next 10 days. We'll see more cloud cover going really through the weekend, but there will be some periods of sunshine in the mix as well. Rain chances, those come in Saturday night and mainly through the day on Sunday. Don't forget to fall back, though, but we'll have those rain chances through early next week as well. By this time next week, we'll see cloudy skies and temperatures struggling through the 40s.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.